and tonight we will be looking into the topic of why India will be the next superpower. During the past week, I've gathered some Chang thoughts and I've interviewed Professor Kari as well as Professor Shamal about why India will be the next superpower, possibly due to offshoring from global companies. Now we'll be looking into the first footage of my interview with Professor Kari. Good morning, Professor Kari. How do you think your country has benefited from offshoring to India?
Well, it's pretty obvious. By offshoring to India, there's a significant cost advantage compared to if we start out the company here. Our companies have been able to save 30 to 40% for most of the outsourcing services to India. For instance, Indian professionals work at a much lower rate compared to when you work in the US and Europe. Moreover, infrastructure costs in India are lower, thus saving significantly on capital.
So may I ask, why India?
We have thought about other countries, but India is special. It has a vast pool of talents, which includes the fact that there will be an increasing number of people in the workforce in the future. And about 11,200 higher education institutions produce 2.1 million graduates each year. That's why India is a viable choice.
Thank you. So, is there actually any system in particular that is beneficial to this action of offshoring?
Yeah, there's definitely a system. It's called the fast turnaround time system, which ensures the work is being carried out throughout the day in 24 hours. That's because there's a 12-hour interval working system between United States and India, and that ensures that the workers in countries like USA can work while those in India rest, and vice versa.
Wow, that really got me thinking. Are there any cons to this offshoring to India?
Cons, huh? Well, there most definitely is. And now United States, offshore outsourcing has came under attack recently. That's because when we venture to other countries, the United States and the United Kingdom lose jobs, and many people are complaining that the high unemployment rate is because of outsourcing of jobs to other countries. And that is definitely a problem.
Wow, I'm sure many of us are thinking about how India can become the next superpower from that first footage. Now moving on, we'll be checking out my interview with Professor Shamal. Good evening, Professor Vipu. May I ask you, how does offshoring affect workers in India?
Offshoring affects different people differently. For the purpose of this discussion, let's classify them into low-skilled and high-skilled workers. Initially, the low-skilled workers were able to get the jobs because their skills were easy to learn, and thus because of this, they were able to provide for their family and their standard of living improved over time. However, as the years progressed, it was the high-skilled people who were emerged as the main beneficiaries of this offshoring. They were able to gain the highly lucrative jobs from important companies such as IBM, Microsoft and Apple. They were able to put their engineering talents to their actual purpose and thus have moved up the corporate level. In addition, the IT sector witnessed 10 to 15% increase in their wages because of inflation and the increased IT offshoring. This led to other attempts to gain and attract more companies such as research and development, equity analysis and return tax processing, which help to attract companies.
Thank you, Professor Shamal. Now may I ask, besides all this offshoring to India, how else do you think India may become the next superpower?
Well, that would be due to our successful entrepreneurs. Our entrepreneurs such as Dhirubhai Ambani, Aziz Premji and Ratan Tata are known throughout the world. They have established some of the most important companies such as Wipro, Reliance and Tata Industries, which are now moving up in the world and thus have established India as an important part of industries and corporate ladders throughout the world.
Wow! After looking at these two interviews with Professor Kari and Professor Sharma, I'm sure many of you are certain that India can become the next superpower. Based on Professor Kari's interview, other countries are more likely to offshore to India to have manufacturing factories set up in the country. And by cross-referencing this with Professor Sharma's interview, we can see that this will certainly benefit India in many aspects and it will soon become the next superpower. Thank you for joining me on tonight's Chang Show. From the first interview with Professor Kari, it has been shown that
because India has a significant
But are there any cons to this offshoring to India?
Cons, huh? Well, there is.
Good morning, Professor Kari.
How I'm trying to ask you about offshoring, whether it will lead to India being a superpower. Well, we have definitely thought of other countries. India has a vast pool of talents, which includes the fact that there will be an increasing number of people in the workforce in the future.
After looking at these two interviews,
Wow,
every time wow, I just realized it.
Look at these fellas.
It's over, man.
Smile.
Funny.